In a previous video I showed a vintage Ariel Leader motorcycle that I'm in the process of restoring, and I thought it might be interesting just to go over and demonstrate how I go about restoring some of the parts for that bike. This is the top part of the front fairing, and as with all motorcycles like this that have a fairing that sticks out, it tends to get fairly badly damaged whenever the bike is allowed to fall over. This is a fairly bad example, and it's extremely badly bent and dented to the extent that it's cracked all the way through in a couple of places. I've actually straightened this out a little bit. It was bent almost at right angles in these places. This section here is where the windscreen would normally attach. As I say, it's very badly beaten up, dented, some fairly significant damage in some places. So first step is to get it cleaned up. I'll get it bead blasted, get it back to bare metal, and see what we're up against. Okay, so this is after the first pass with the bead blaster. Got no idea what's happened to this in the past. It's in very poor states, absolutely covered in dents. Looks like somebody's had a go at straightening it out with a baseball bat or something, but there's a lot of work to do, a lot of cracks, some splits and bends will need brazing up. Now, unfortunately, some parts of this are double skinned, which will make it quite difficult to get the panel perfectly straight. But I'll give it a go and see how straight I can get it, and hopefully we can then get it painted and get put back onto the bike. So for anyone that's interested in the process of how to get this panel back into shape, this is after about 15 minutes beating. This is the bit that was worst dented, like somebody had tried to reform it with a baseball bat or a sledgehammer or something. So luckily the other side isn't too badly deformed, although it's got quite a few big dents in it. It's actually the right profile, so I have something to aim for on this side, because this was so badly dented that just trying to hammer out the dents would deform the panel and it wouldn't then fit back onto the bike. So what I'm doing is getting the profile on this side correct while I'm getting rid of the dents. So I started by using the big form to get the profile pretty much what it should be, and also getting rid of the bigger dents, so you can still see the remnants of some of them. So there were deep dents all the way down here and the whole panel was caved in. So I've brought it back out. What I'm doing now is from the centre band outwards in both directions, I'm working out the small creases and wrinkles. I'm also filling in the deep scratches as I'm going. Just by working the metal into the scratches, I can get rid of them pretty much completely. So the first coat of primer, when it's rubbed down, this will be completely smooth. What I then do is rub it over with some 400 grit wet and dry. That lets me see the profile and anything that's left that needs evening out. As you can see, as I'm working my way out, it's forming back into an almost perfectly flat piece of steel. I'll work my way all the way to the edges in both directions, making sure that the profile remains correct. I'll do the same thing on the other side, but that won't be quite as difficult because that's just much more straightforward dents. They're not major creases like there was on this side, and nobody's tried to bang them back out. On this side there were obviously big dents and somebody's just tried to hammer them out, and there was all dents and creases and ripples. You can see where somebody's been hitting it with a hammer. So what I'll do, I'll continue this all the way down to the corners, work my way into the centre, and then this entire panel will be flat and smooth and ready for rubbing down and priming. It's going to take probably a good 5 or 6 hours, I should think, in total, getting it completely reprofiled. Would be a lot quicker if it wasn't double skin. That's going to make it a lot more tricky. What I'll do then is look at straightening out these two areas Probably put some double plates in the back because there is plenty of space behind here. Spot weld those in place, re-drill them, grind it to the right profile, and as I'm going I'm going to be taking out all these little dents and creases and dings, and once I've done that I'll braze up the cracks, rub it all down again, or grind it down, rub it all flat, and then I can get it primed and ready to take the top coat. Obviously same on the inside, although this bit isn't visible I do still need to make sure I don't do too much damage in here, which is why I'm using the larger of the tools. It helps me form the correct profile, and it also makes sure that I don't create any further creases as I'm going. So I hope you found that interesting. If you want me to look at any particular aspects of this in more detail, then let me know, and in the next video I'll show you the panel once I've got all the creases out, and then we'll look at the repairs.